Hey everyone, Brando Orlando here, coming to you live on tape from another gorgeous day here in Central Florida. Today I come to you live on tape from Disney's Epcot. It's Food and Wine Festival, y'all. You know what that means. I'm going to show you some menus, show you some of the decor, give you a little walk around, give a little crowd estimation, all the stuff you've come to love and expect of Brando Orlando. Thanks for joining me. Glad you did. Let's get to it. All right, so this may not be my... Actually, I'm going to take that all back. Yes, this is my favorite festival. I do like Festival of Holidays and Festival of the Arts, but I just enjoy this one. I'm a food guy, obviously. But I'm excited. I haven't been. It's been open for less than a week, and this is my first visit, so of course we're going to start off with some merch. Why wouldn't we? All right, these are pretty common every year. There's a limit of 2. It's kind of like a walking plateware situation. $13 for this guy. I'm going to show you the logo there. And then if you're a pass holder like myself, you have some pretty good looking pass holder merch. The shirt's going to go $35. You also have a pass holder mug this year. I don't think they had one of these last year. But here's your main theme this year, big flavor. And you know I'm going to have to get me some of these trash cans. For some reason I collect trash cans. I don't know why. It's a great t-shirt, Donald. Spirit jersey, $80 is normal. Here's your ornament, 2025. Pretty cool wooden tray, be good for entertaining. Tank top. And of course, your ears. Ears are gonna go for $34.99. This, I know it's terrible lighting, but there are several pass holder pins available for all your pin fans. And Lug. Disney's done a lot of partnerships with Lug, and that's the first pass holder Lug bag I've seen. And these guys, that's pretty dope. That's a cooler bag. A Lug cooler bag. You know, the wife and I do enjoy. Oh, boys. I'm going to leave that for next time. Oh, we got some outerwear. A little different color scheme, which I'm always a fan of. The hat's meh. Probably won't buy that, but they do have the quarter zip. Looks like it's got a hidden hood in there. And then I like the detail. Spaceship Earth is the pull. Wine glasses. Pretty standard, I'd say. Standard fare for food and garden. What is weird, I will say, a little bit of wayfinding here. I'm on the main concourse from Spaceship Earth into the World Showcase. Generally, for the festivals, they'll have other photo ops, and maybe that's more to come. Looking directly back at Spaceship Earth. Kind of different not to see some signage or anything like that. So I've been doing a little bit more of honest, uncensored reviews on these, whether it be parties or festivals, and some of my reviews have sparked debate, which is awesome. But I'm just being honest with you. And Food and Wine, whilst, to give you an example, while not so scary, if you've never done it, I recommend you do it. But I think it's more of a one and done. Food and Wine, especially this year in particular, I've been to the last 7 of them. This year in particular is enticing because they've really got a bunch of new food options, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, there's plenty of old classics backs. Of course, you have Canada with the cheddar bacon soup and the filet mignon. But there is a ton of new items this year, which has been my complaint excuse me, over the past few years as far as, man, it's the same regurgitated menu. So excited to see a lot of new options. Early reviews from what I've seen is Mexico and Italy are kind of tied for last place, and your usual suspects, including Canada, which we just looked at, are near the top. But we are going to head down here just a little bit. Crowd levels today not bad. I'll switch you around, give you a little bit of a view. Now this is a Tuesday afternoon, so definitely not the weekend. And it's really not that bad. I would say this is about a 5.2 out of 10. Normally this is a very congested area coming up through here from Canada to the UK. This is definitely manageable. Now, she is hot today, but it's awfully breezy, so heat's not a crippling concern. Check the band over here in Canada. See who's playing. Looks like no one. Awesome. Now this is definitely interesting. So in years past, they would have at least a couple tents between Canada and UK, but this year, as I see the Alice in Wonderland meet and greet, there are no food booths through this little stretch, which leads me to believe they most likely have moved them back over, I think, between France and Morocco. We'll go back there and take a peek, but kind of unusual that there's no activity or tents. Past 3 years have been there, so interesting. This is the area that I was talking about, back between France and Morocco. Brazil cheese bread is that's a greatest hit. That's here every year, and then I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but it looks like black beans, but with pork belly. But honestly, the winner for us the past couple years, and I'm glad to see they finally, after seems like years, they were usually in a tent, but it appears Belgium has finally got their own booth back in here and a permanent sitch, and it's pretty darn good. I guess, like, if you're successful, I mean, that's some pretty well stocked booth for Food and Wine. I do want to take a look at the beer braised beef. That's a greatest hit that's been here, and then a couple different Belgian waffles, coffees, a beer flight, a bunch of good alcohol choices. But this was my best of the fest for like 3 years in a row. That beer braised beef with smoked Gouda mashed potatoes at $6.75 is huge. It's a great portion and it's a great value. So if you are a Belgium fan, as I am, just a bit of wayfinding. There's Tangerine Cafe, the big restrooms over here in World Showcase, and right there. And how about bonus points that the cast members dancing during the video? How sweet it is. How sweet it is. Now, one thing I am a little disappointed about during Food and Wine is they used to have a pass holders lounge through there that I guess they only run during the hottest parts of the summertime because it's not open, and it should be. Just food for thought. I mean, Universal keeps their pass holder lounge open year round. Come on, Disney, you're not using it anyway. Now, as far as Greece goes, let's see. The Lamb Hero, I believe, is new, but the spanakopita, the moussaka, and the griddle cheese has been here. But Greece, I mean, as you're looking here on these little clips, there's not really any huge lines. Again, it's Wednesday afternoon and not that bad, but I'll give Greece some points for being one of the prettier booths. Different merch. Here's your traditional lug bag, and my wife loves these guys. because they do a good job of keeping the water bottles cold. A lot of Remy stuff over here on this side, and aprons, some more pens, trash cans, spatulas, and plushes. This is new. You can get hand-drawn cork tunes and images printed on corks. That's pretty cool. They're $20 a piece. That's definitely new here at the Food and Wine Festival. Now, Japan is, generally speaking, a very popular booth. And let's see if their menu looks updated. Again, I've been to so many of these Food and Wine Festivals multiple times each year. Teriyaki chicken bun's the same. The Osakana Karaage. Crispy fried pollock with spicy mayonnaise. Not seen that. And a beef Wagyu don. A rice bowl with American Wagyu beef. White rice. Homemade pickles. Pickled, man, that sounds delicious. And of course your sake and a couple different alcoholic beverages. But that's what's exciting about this year, y'all, is the fact that there's so much different food. That's the money shot, people. That's the money shot. If you know, you know. All right, this is completely new. It's a Sunglass Hut here, right in front of the American Experience, which is crazy. And God knows I love my Costas. And you can buy them here at Disney. You'll probably pay a little more than you do from the interwebs. But kind of interesting. More of the same merch we've already seen as we pass the most sad trombone country gift shop of all, the United States gift shop, which is horrible. Hey y'all, I need a hoodie. It's in the low 90s. Let me get a blanket and some hoodies. So bad. Still angry. Bitter party of one. Flavors of America generally does really well. Has usually interesting options. A little bit of wayfinding if you look for Art of Disney or the American Experience show building. I think down the line over there is going to be your barbecue shop. All right, so here in America you have a Gulf Coast seafood roll with warm water lobster, rock shrimp, lobster bisque, sherry creme fraiche on a toasted, that sounds delicious, New England slider, slow braised beef pot roast with spicy gardeniera. Sounds like a Chicago beef. Freshly baked chocolate pudding cake with Kentucky bourbon caramel. You had me at bourbon and caramel. Sounds all delicious. And that booth generally does a great job. That's one of my favorite booths. Again, Sad Trombone gift shop over here. Straight that way. America. Step up your gift shop game. Now they do here at the American Theater, they do have entertainment nightly. In time it appears it's Foreigner's Journey, which I have seen, believe it or not. It's called They Eat to the Beat, and those fill up pretty quickly, so heads up, if you want to go, I'd get in line pretty early. They do offer dining packages that include preferred seating for Eat to the Beat. Generally, your more popular artists, think Joey Fatone or Boyz II Men, that would be a situation where you'd want to, if you definitely want to go to the show, you'd probably go ahead and couple up the dining just to ensure your awesome seating right up front. But for most of them, Foreigner's Journey, like I said, I've seen, you can just kind of, if you don't have to be way up front, it's kind of a walk-up situation. You don't have to get that crazy about it. But definitely a fun part. And they do generally 3 sets per night, generally about 20-25 minute sets a piece. So think 3 to 5 songs each set. A lot of fun. Definitely not something you see at most theme parks. Definitely an added bonus value. Basically, you're paying, with the cost of your ticket to Epcot, you're getting basically a mini concert ticket as well. So I'm here at probably my least favorite booth, which is Italy. And looking at the menu here, it doesn't look any better, honestly. And it's very expensive. So people need to go. I was going to say before I got cut off I was literally 2 feet away from that sign, and somebody had to get between me and the sign. And I was going to be like, man, I'm worried about some of your vision, but I didn't want to be a jerk. All right, Spain. Trio de pin something. Looks like ham, some bread with tomato, and a tortilla. I cannot speak or read today. Looks like a seafood dish and a Bass cheesecake. I'm sure Michelle will be all about. Spain, generally seafood centric, and no change this year. I think those entrees are new. The beverages look familiar though. And again, no real big lines anyway. And you're right here in Germany. They have some live music every now and again.
I have a very sad message for you, because this song will be the last song for this set. But
all these items, the Schinkendoodlen, the bratwurst, the apple, I'm sure I butchered that. Don't be hating. Those are all greatest hits, but reasonable prices here in Germany. Most expensive is the bratwurst at $6.25.
just have a good time together. The last song we want to play is a Disney movie in front of the television, watching Disney movies, translated into the German language. That's why you now have to listen to this song from the Jungle Book movie in German. Have fun anyway. Ich bin der Königin Affenstark, der größte Glittermaß. Ich bin ohne Hass, von Ast zu Ast. Das ist für Sport ein Klacks. Ich will viel lieber auch Mensch sein und tollen durch die Stadt. Ein Mensch hat's gut, ich aber hab, was hat für Leben mir sagt. Domino, hab ich werde gern wie du. Ich möchte gehen wie du, stehen wie du.
Now right next door to the Germany pavilion, that should be louder, is the Alps booth. And the Alps booth is literally right beside the Germany booth. And it's kind of one of my favorites. We'll take it. I'm sure they have the raclette. Yes, they have the raclette. Yes. That Kirschwasser Torte is new. But the first two, I'm not going to get up in those guess way, but basically think hand-carved, really good Swiss cheese that's like drippingly melty on top of little toast points. It's pretty good. It's only like $5, so if you like cheese, highly recommend. If not, you could probably skip it. If you're looking for art here at the Food and Wine Festival, there is a kiosk just for you. It's all food themed, and it's just past the Alps on your right-hand side if you're walking towards Mexico. And generally speaking, obviously if you've ever been to Disney, you know everything is about triple retail. But generally speaking, during Food and Wine, the art is not as expensive as the Festival of the Arts, where everything is premium. So if you're looking for custom art or something from the Food and Wine Festival, that'd be your spot. So here at the Refreshment Outpost, a little bit different. Normally, oh God, I can't get away from the Impossible spicy sausage with peri-peri peppers and onions. Ugh, so bad. But they do have a berry spiced beef stew with sweet potato mealy pap and cacciamburi slaw. That sounds like something you would see at Tusker House or Boma, two of my faves. But we're walking up here to one of the most slept on booths in the entire festival. And I'm surprised that I enjoy this booth so much. But it is so good. And that is the India booth. And I'm curious if they kept some of the favorites we had from years past. There was samosas, there was like a curry situation. Let's check out what they have. Yep. That's what it is. The potatoes and pea samosas, I give those like an 8 out of 10. And the chicken tikka masala is quietly spicy, if that makes sense, and it's delicious. Both of the entrees here at this India booth are top tier. Do not sleep on India, folks. Shockingly good booth. One of my favorite booths in all of the food and wine festivals. Now, I have to say, admittedly, as I'm by the China booth, this is probably the only booth at Food and Wine I've never sampled anything from. I'm going to take a quick peek at the menu. They have chicken dumplings, which sound great, a smoked duck bao bun, I know who'd like that, and Beijing zhazhang noodle with stir-fried minced beef. That sounds actually really good too. Bubble tea, some punches, some cocktails. Frozen strawberry jasmine cocktail sounds delicious, especially on a hot day. But I don't know, it's usually so hot when this festival's going on, I don't know if I would consider Chinese food like a cold weather food, but it's generally like I'm so hot, I don't want to eat a bunch of hot stuff, so. But really surprised Norway doesn't have a food booth. You do like a smoked salmon situation, all that good stuff. Now here is a tip from the pros. This booth right here, this popcorn booth that I'm walking up to, just some wayfinding, right here in Norway. This is the only booth in all the Disney parks that I've found that you can actually get Voss bottled water and not Dasani. I know Dasani gets a lot of heat, but you can get a big bottle, like a 20-ounce bottle of Voss here for $4.75. Not a bad deal, considering you're paying just about the same for Dasani. But don't tell anybody. All right, this next booth we're going to run into is probably my most controversial take of this video. And we're heading to the Mexico booth, and it's generally one of the busiest booths. It is if you're one of those weirdos that go left at the beginning of your day. It's your first booth, and it's generally packed. And I've tried it. I've wanted to like it. I've gotten several items here, and I find them much like Italy, all overpriced and all very small. I got a ribeye taco that was 2 bites, and it was $9.75 last year. Maybe it was the year before. Let's see. They've got a tostada carnitas for $8, a flauta for $8.75, and some flan for $6.75. That's a little bit better in line, but I still think it's overpriced. And as you see, like of all the lines we've seen, that's still very light, but that's terribly backlit. I apologize, I'm not a professional. But probably my least favorite booth. I don't know, it's between them and Italy is my least favorite booth in all Food and Wine. And I know I'm going to get some hot takes. What are your thoughts? Put them in the comments below and we can discuss. All right, so this building here, right on this little lagoon, is the Brewing Wing Lab at the Odyssey Pavilion. That's the Odyssey Pavilion there. Let's see what we have. This is like a Muppets Lab situation with Beaker and garlic parm wings I've had, the Korean barbecue, the unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty. That was so hot, and I like hot stuff. That was terrible last year. Fried pickle spears look delicious. They do have some interesting beverages here, including the pickle milkshake, which I did try like 3 years ago, and it is terrible. And I like pickles, so buyer beware on that. Now this Australia booth used to be located in that little walkway I was showing you earlier that I noticed there's a lack of tents. It looks like it's also garnered a permanent location. Australia normally has a lamb chop. Yep, they have the lamb's chop. the shrimp skewer is the greatest hit, and the pavlova, I believe we had it last year as well. But Australia's generally pretty popular. Normally smells really good, but I don't guess they're grilling those here this year. I don't know if it's a space deal or what, but Australia is generally pretty popular booth. I'm not going to be showing you every single booth today because I don't feel like walking that far, to be completely honest. There's a honey, it's not a country, but there's like a honey-centric booth. And then last year it was themed to Yacht and Beach Club. It was basically a bunch of seafood that's over there, but basically the walkway between Figment, and I'll give you a better shot as we head back towards Spaceship Earth. There are a total of, I want to say 3 to 4 booths over there. Bit of wayfinding, I'll give you just a little peek. Basically across the lagoon there, where the glass pyramid is, there's a walkway. You see a bunch of people walking over there, and it's going to be over that way. And then there's one more place you can go for booths, and that's where Test Track is located. There's a walkway, and I'm not sure what's over there this year. It's generally a fire, Flavors of Fire, which is like a bunch of grilled options. And then at one point they had a seafood, like you could get a grilled lobster tail for like $13 or something over there. But those is generally, and I'm not walking over there today, I'm just speculating, generally there's 2 booths over that way. But we'll stop in Creations before we head out and wrap up this suddenly hot edition today here at Disney's Food and Wine Festival 2025. There is a little bit different merch here in Creations. I'll make sure and show it to you. This t-shirt I haven't seen, the hat I have seen. The quarter zip with the built-in hood I've seen. The Muppet Lab stuff's all new. Kind of neat. Little Food and Wine Muppet Labs tote. Here's your Turbis. These generally run about $35. Trash cans we've seen, the red stuff we've seen, and a bunch of new. Oh, that's cool. If you're a Muppets guy, there's your lug bag. That actually looks pretty cool, and that goes for a whopping $65. We're gonna leave that for later. Bunch of new Halloween gear. I think I've showed you that in a previous episode. Our visit to Magic Kingdom. I'm not going to walk through all that today. Mainly I'm just enjoying some air conditioning. It got hot. The wind died down and she's hot. Nothing new through here. Seen all this.
Fingers over there.
I think that's a new Raglan. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Not seen that. I like a good baseball shirt. But other than that, that's all I'm really seeing in Creations. There's your Halloween Spirit jersey for the year, and then there's your crossbody. $79 for the Spirit jersey. Crossbody, I believe, is $35. And I have to say, I bought a crossbody not long ago. I'll show it to you here in a second, and I use it quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna try to, I got a coffee in my hand. I got a lot going on. But here's my crossbody. See, I got my annual pass holder button on that. And I have luggage that matches this design. That's the only reason I really bought it. But I gotta say, it's really good. I just throw my camera in there. I don't have to worry about it. Put my car keys, and especially at the water parks, it comes in handy. Because I like a backpack, but I don't like a backpack when I'm trucking through these parks, walking like 4 or 5 miles. So, plus your odds, if you have a backpack, your odds are going to be way higher getting stopped at security and going through, get your bag searched. So that on the crossbody, I've had very good luck. I'm about 95% not getting stopped. It's only when I throw like a whole bunch of fuel rods in here that I get stopped. So Crossbody for me, the way to go. It's very European. It's not a purse. All right. Well, I just got off the tram there. I'm going to head back to my truck. Call today here from Disney's Food and Wine Festival 2025. Pretty darn, way better than the past few years, I'd say. Again, my recap. I would come to this festival every year if I was able to, which I am. But if I was like out of state or something, I would definitely try to plan my trip around this because it takes place during this time of year. You could hit a Halloween party if you chose. Magic Kingdom's decorated for Halloween. There's a lot of perks to coming down this time of year. It's not a one and done. It's a every year I'm going to go no matter what because I love it. That should be louder. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you did. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you hated what you saw today, write me a letter in cursive, mail it to my address, which I'll post in the comments. And I will mail you a cashier's check for your money back for the cost of your subscription. As always, folks, keep the parks clean.